Hi everybody, it's Sue. First, I would like to introduce team members Avshan, Nazrana and Isabel. Today, we are here to present to you how is Saskatchewan's childcare system. I will try to inform you about the basic philosophy we have found from our research. After me, Avshan will give information about what childcare options are available at Saskatchewan. And then Nazrana will give some information about governing legislation. Last part, Isabel, our team members, will give information about staff qualification, training requirements, and ratio. Also, at each step, we will try to point out the differences and similarities between Ontario's childcare system and Saskatchewan childcare system. At the end of the presentation, if you have any question, we will be happy to answer them. I would like to briefly inform you about Saskatchewan province. Residents primarily live in the southern prairie half of the province, while the northern rural half is the mostly forested and sparsely populated. Saskatchewan is a prairie and forest province in Canada, the only province without a natural border. Saskatchewan is bordered on the west by Alberta, on the northwest territories, on the east by Manitoba, on the northeast by the Nunavut, and last one is on the south by the United States. Of the total population, roughly half live in the province. Largest city is Saskatchewan or the provincial capital Regina. Its climate is extremely continental, rendering several winters through the province. You cannot believe this information. In winter, temperatures below -45 degrees Celsius are possible even in the south during extreme cold snap. I wouldn't live there. What about you? Now, I want to talk about the basic philosophy we have found from our research. Philosophy statements are used by Icey centers to share their values and beliefs that from their program. It is the same meaning in Ontario and Saskatchewan, actually in the world. A philosophy influences every aspect of the child's day, from the way the environment is set up to the role that teachers, early child educators have in guiding children's play. The Icey philosophy is so important in Saskatchewan, like Ontario. The Childcare Regulation Saskatchewan 2015 documentation has included philosophy and program. All licensed childcare have to follow that rules. If we examine the Ontario childcare rule under the Childcare Early Years Act 2014, we can see in Ontario licensed childcare has to follow similar philosophy and program. Both province childcare have to develop a written statement of philosophy for the facility. Also, they have to plan and implement a daily program of activities that is consistent with the statement of philosophy and developmentally for the age of the children attending the facility and for each child. Saskatchewan Early Years Plan clearly regulated their basic rules. The government of Saskatchewan has improved Saskatchewan Early Years Plan to guarantee that all Saskatchewan children get a good start alive. This plan guideline goals to help all children be healthy, safe, and into their full capacity. Also, the plan includes providing families and communities to be strong. Also, in Saskatchewan, Icey philosophy included supporting family. According to Saskatchewan Early Years Plan, that is prenatal and early childhood support for mothers and children, better access to high quality early learning and childcare options. Also, it's support for families in their role as a parents and caregiver and programs that make sure children and families receiving support don't slip through the cracks. Ontario province has similar support to family too. Saskatchewan's Early Years Plan is highlighting encouraging young children to learn by play. Also, it expresses their feeling. It develops positive relationship with children. It gives them to able to go on to reach their full potential in life. Ontario Childcare like similarity. It which promoting cognitive development through the play. EC students learn new ways of engaging children in play-based learning in Ontario and Saskatchewan. Let me sum up my main topic. The most important thing we need to know about Saskatchewan's EC philosophy is that they follow the philosophy of four famous philosophers such as Maria Montessori, Jean Piaget, and Reggie Emily. The same philosophers are followed in the state of Ontario. Let me give you some information about them. Montessori method. Focus on work experience rather than play. Also, special material for specific learning tasks. And then Jean Piaget, the high scope approach. This is emphasizes the importance of learning through direct experience with people and objects. And teacher help children develop deeper cognitive understanding through the plan, do, review. And last one, that is my last one, Reggie Emily approach. That curriculum is based on children's interest, development, and emphasis on in-depth project to facilitate learning. Also, children's learning is recorded in visual form. Parental involvement is encouraged. Strong collaboration among teacher and children. Let's move on to next topic. Avşam, floor is yours.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you to introduce us the basic philosophy of childcare in Saskatchewan. And now I am going to talk about the types of childcare in Saskatchewan. There are few types of childcare in Saskatchewan: licensed childcare center, family childcare home, number of regulated childcare services, in support centers, and some unlicensed childcare. In Saskatchewan, early childhood education and care programs are kindergarten and pre-kindergarten. They are offered by licensed childcare centers and regulated family childcare. The early years branch in the Ministry of Education take care and responsibility of the licensed childcare centers and also regulated family childcare. In kindergarten, 5 to 6 year old children can attend this program, and for pre-kindergarten, 4 to 5 years old attend this program. Both are offered to families for free, means this is free of cost, and regulated childcare is also known as licensed childcare.
Licensed childcare are include number 1, childcare centers. They provide care to children in a group. These centers should have a license from early year branch. They can take care up to 90 children from 6 weeks to 12 years old. They can include non-profit services conducted by a board. Number 2, teen student support centers. These are mostly located in a high school and they give services to the kids of parents who are in high school. Number 3, family childcare homes. These family childcare homes are controlled by licensed family childcare providers with a resident. They can take only up to 8 children. Number 4, number of regulated childcare services. There are 310 school-based childcare centers for preschool age children, included in center-based 128. Individual family childcare providers 226 in Saskatchewan.
After talking about the types of childcare center in Saskatchewan, now I would like to discuss some services which are provided in pre-kindergarten and kindergarten in Saskatchewan. Pre-kindergarten service provided. Number 1, pre-kindergarten is free early childhood education program, and it is for 3 to 4 years old children and their families. A qualified teacher with early childhood education knowledge is required for this program. A pre-kindergarten associate is also required for this program. 316 ministry funded pre-kindergarten were funded in Saskatchewan during 2015 to 2016. The ministry provides funding pre-kindergarten has number 1, a child development focus, number 2, fostering social emotional, number 3, physical and intellectual, and number 4, spiritual development. For kindergarten services, number 1, kindergarten programs are done in public schools under the Board of Education. The Education Act 1995 gives school divisions right to set the age of children for kindergarten program. Number 3, most of the times children must be 5 years old. Number 4, attendance in kindergarten is not mandatory. The Education Act 1995 states that kindergarten program requirement is that it is half the length of the school year. Therefore, 475 hours are required for kindergarten compared to 954 from grade 1 to 12.
Now I want to talk about how the unlicensed childcare work in Saskatchewan. Unlicensed childcare providers are only allowed to take 8 children in their home. Unlicensed childcare is not funded by the government. Unlicensed childcare are still need to follow the basic rules and regulations, such as the proper ratio of ECEs and safe environment as well. Unlicensed childcare are not allowed to operate full-day childcare program, and these are not monitored by the government.
At the end of the presentation, I want to make a brief comparison between Ontario and Saskatchewan regarding types of childcare centers. So let's start with the comparison between Ontario and Saskatchewan. First of all, Ontario. Ontario has licensed home childcare centers, licensed childcare centers, before and after school care, and unlicensed childcare centers. Ontario has childcare centers in a variety of locations such as community centers, workplaces, school programs, before and after school. Licensed childcare's inspection by ministry is done once every year. In Ontario, unlicensed childcares are not inspected by the Ministry of Education. In 2018, Ontario had 5,437 licensed childcares with 427,3,200 places. On the other hand, in Saskatchewan has licensed childcare family, childcare homes, a number of regulated childcare services, and teen support centers. Licensed childcares are inspected by the ministry. Statistic of March 2016 shows number of parts and full regulated childcare spaces. In Saskatchewan, total spaces were 12,558. Saskatchewan made great progress to develop a total of 2,515 licensed childcare spaces by 2020. 1,044 new spaces were allocated across the province. So now, after discussing these points, we can understand that Ontario still has the more spaces in regulated and home-based childcare centers across the Canada. Now I will request Nazrana to present her part, and thanks for listening.
Hello Professor, hello everyone, and thank you my group member Afshan, Chu and Icey. My topic is governing legislation in Saskatchewan. In Saskatchewan, Legislative Assembly Education Act in 1995. Under the Education Act, the independent school must be registered with the Department of Learning in order to operate legally. The Government of Canada and Saskatchewan signed an early learning and childcare bilateral agreement in March 2018. Those bilateral agreements, the Government of Saskatchewan received $41 million for investment toward accessibility, inclusivity, and quality. The funding is intended to improve the access to quality childcare spaces. In the Saskatchewan, regulated early childhood education and childcare programs include kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, licensed childcare center, and regulated family childcare center under the Ministry of Education. The government provides a grant to assist with the cost of developing or operating a non-profit childcare service. The government also provides financial assistance to low-income families to assist with the cost and licensed childcare. The funding is support inclusion and minority languages, additional training early childhood educator, improve the physical activity and literacy skill. They also promote the inclusion of children and families with diverse needs within each childcare service. They also provide the coordinate service delivery and promote the integration of service for children and families. Government also provide the information, education and consultative support to individual and community to assist in identifying or developing service appropriate their needs. The government also provides a current listing of childcare homes and centers in the communities across the province. The government legislation in Ontario. In April 2010, the Ontario government announced the transfer of responsibility for childcare from the Ministry of Children and Youth Service to the Ministry of Education to create and integrate the system and support the transition for the children and family. Ontario is unique is that local government also play a primary role in childcare. The earlier of division of Ministry Ministry of Education, Administrator of Legislation in the responsibility for monitoring and licensing regulated childcare. For additional information, the Ministry of Education added new features of Ontario Licensed Childcare website for www.ontario.ca/licensed childcare.
Thank you, Nasrano, for your report. Hello everyone, my name is Isabel and I'll be reporting about staff qualification, training requirements, and ratio in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan staff qualifications for ECE or Early Childhood Educator has 3 levels, which is ECE Level 1, ECE Level 2, and ECE Level 3. To obtain ECE Level 1, it is required to complete 9 credit units, which is 3 courses that are related to early childhood, including 1 course from each of the 3 areas, which is childhood development, programming, relationship, or after you finish ECE orientation from a recognized post-secondary institution. To obtain ECE Level 2, we must complete a 1-year ECE certificate program from a recognized post-secondary institution, or after you finish an equivalent amount of post-secondary coursework is necessary. Now, to obtain ECE Level 3, we must complete a 2-year ECE diploma program from a recognized post-secondary institution, or after you have finished an equivalent amount of post-secondary coursework. In addition, directors must complete at least a 2-year diploma or equivalent and be certified as ECE Level 3. Lastly, all staff must also complete first aid and CPR course. For Ontario, all ECE staff must have a valid 2-year diploma in early childhood education from an approved Ontario college and be a member in a good standing at College of Early Childhood Educators, which is a regulatory college for ECE. ECE supervisors must have at least 2 years of experience providing licensed childcare. In addition, research teacher must complete a post-secondary program of studies approved by a director that is both theoretical and practical, and that relates to the needs of children with special needs or otherwise approved by the director. Supervisors and employees of a childcare center who may be counted for the purpose of meeting the ratios required. Omitted and resource teacher must have a valid certification in standard first aid, including infant and child CPR. This must be issued by a training agency recognized by Workplace Safety and Assurance Board. Each level of ECE certification in Saskatchewan has a minimum number of credit units required. ECE Level 1 must complete 3 units for child development, 3 units of programming, and 3 units of relationship subject to accumulate 9 units. ECE Level 2 must complete 9 units for child development, 12 units for programming, 9 units for relationship, and 9 units for related courses to accumulate 39 credits. Finally, ECE Level 3 must complete 12 units for child development, 18 units for programming, 21 units for relationships, and 30 units for related courses to accumulate 81 units. Once courses has been assessed for ECE certification, all subsequent courses taken to increase an ECE level must be related to early childhood education. Some examples of courses approved in the programming subjects are role-playing, curriculum planning, creative arts programming, programming for infants and toddlers, programming for cognitive development and science, and primary medical skills. Some courses approved for relationship subjects are childcare, family and community relations, professionalism and ethics, cultural awareness and foundations of early childhood education. Lastly, for related courses are general arts, which is sociology, psychology, native studies, music, or fine arts. We also have French language, children with diverse abilities, infant or toddler care, and then administration or management. As per provincial or territorial legislation, certified early childhood educators with equivalent course qualification from another province or territory of Canada can practice in Saskatchewan. If there is no certification from another province or territory of Canada, then an assessment will be required. The Ministry of Education sets the requirements for certification and courses required to achieve equivalency. Now, let's look into the staff-to-child ratio in Saskatchewan and Ontario. so that we could see the difference. Saskatchewan requires that for every 3 infants, there should be 1 adult, and the maximum group size is 6 infants. Then for every 5 toddlers, there should be 1 adult, and the maximum group size of children is 10. Lastly, for every 10 preschool age children, there should be 1 adult, and the maximum allowed size is 20 in a room. Now, for Ontario, there is a little difference. So for infants, if we have 10 infants, there should be 3 adults, and the maximum group size is 10. For every 5 toddlers, there should be 1 adult, and the maximum group size is 50. And then last, for every 8 preschool age kids, there should be 1 adult, and the maximum group size is 24. The ratio of staff to infants between Saskatchewan and Ontario is almost the same, but Saskatchewan has a lesser maximum group size allowed. Staff to toddler ratio for Ontario and Saskatchewan is the same, but Ontario has higher maximum group size allowed. Lastly, for preschool, the number of children per 1 adult is higher for Saskatchewan compared to Ontario, but Saskatchewan has lesser group size allowed. If you're gonna look at the numbers, there is difference with the ratio, but they're close enough to be the same.